Hi guys, this is just a small video about the midterm that's coming up. So the midterm itself will be given on a specific day, and that day is listed on the module. Be sure to check the date and make sure it's on your calendar. Should be just in a few days from now. So this exam is timed. All right. So once you start the exam, you need to finish it. Okay. So you have 2 hours to complete it. And you can complete this exam anytime throughout the scheduled day. So I have the midterm scheduled for a specific day, but anytime on that day in the 24-hour period, right? You can complete it. However, it must be completed prior to the end of the day. So you don't want to start later than say, 10 p.m. because you have to have it done by midnight. All right. This midterm is worth approximately 25% of your overall grade. So the midterm itself is 500 points. What is on this exam? Well, let's take a look. It's going to cover modules 1 through 7. All right. Modules 1 through 7 of the course. I recommend going back through those modules and reviewing the topics and looking at any graded work that I've either graded or the computer is graded. Okay, so those topics are beginning back with the voting theory onto the weighted voting and the different measures of power, which are the Bonds-Off and the Shapley-Shubik, and then going on to the apportionment and all of the different apportionment methods that you've been looking at on the last 3 modules. Now, you will want to have a calculator handy, all right? And I have a little typo here. 2 hours is not enough time to find out how to solve the problems. You can see I spelled problems incorrectly, but anyway. So what I mean by that is you want to come to the test prepared and knowing how to solve the problems that I'm going to give you. And that just means being very familiar with the modules 1 through 7. You are allowed notes, and a variety of reasons for that. Okay, one is it's a test that you're taking at your house or wherever it is you're taking this midterm. I'm going to ask you to be academically honest, all right, so that you're not reaching out or working with anybody else. That is strictly forbidden by this course and by the college itself. You can use, though, and it's not really a cheat, you can use the cheat sheet that I provided. Now, if you're just going through the to-do list in my course, you're missing some things. But in the module that's titled Midterm, I have a 6 or 7 page document that outlines all of the material from the first 7 modules in a pretty concise way. You can use that if you'd like to, or you can just bring your own notes, use your own notes, your own examples. But you need to be familiar with whatever you have, right? Whatever notes you're bringing. You don't want to have the big stack of papers. You're like, I'm going to use all these as a resource, because you simply won't have time to get the exam done in 2 hours if you're just perusing through and going through notes and doing something which is a disaster in mathematics. I'll tell you what it is right now, and that is there's got to be a problem exactly like this somewhere in my notes, and I'm going to try and decode it. So that's not at all how you would take this midterm in 2 hours. You need to be already familiar with the material, and then using the notes as sort of a backup, like, oh, okay, right. When it asks for the Webster's method, for example, this is what the Webster's method is. I'm reminding myself very quickly here in my notes or in this example what the Webster's method is, and then I can do the work. All right. So the notes are there so that you don't, get stuck on some vocabulary word, like not remembering the difference between Webster's and Hamilton, for example. Okay. So you can have those there, but you need to already be familiar with the process. Some of the problems on this exam do not require you to show work. All right. So you might just answer the question and be done with it. All right. And the computer might grade that automatically. Some of the questions do require work. All right. And I will specify the problem will say you need to show work here. So yeah. So what are you going to do? Well, if you have to show work, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to use a separate piece of paper. All right. Now you want to keep this organized because I'm going to be grading this. I'm going to be looking at whatever your work is. All right. So if you're working on number 3, you're going to want to have it clearly labeled. This is number 3, and here's my work right here. All right. And you can see that. And then if I ask for work on number 5, this is just an example. I'm not saying which problems. You're going to have your work shown here. Okay. So that at the end of the test, by the way, the very last question is about your work itself. All right. So what are you going to do in the last question? You're going to submit to me your work. And the way you're going to do that typically the average student probably is going to take some pictures on their phone, maybe how you've already submitted something in this course. So you can take pictures on your phone, you can upload those photos onto your Canvas photos and then submit those there. There's other options. You could also, if you have access to a scanner, I don't know everybody's, right? Or you can use your phone as a scanner, by the way. If you have a scanned document, you can scan that somehow and you can upload that file. So ways that we've already done that in the course, you're going to be submitting your work to me. All right. So in summary, and now that I have this zoomed out view of it, you're going to have this 2-hour window. It's coming up. You want to be prepared. You want to be prepared to show your work. And the good news is, as you show your work, okay, one thing I forgot to mention. If I'm asking for work, but you don't show work, of course, I can't give you credit for that. But also there's a positive to it, which is if you show me some work on a problem that you missed, let's say, for example, number 5, you missed it, the computer marked it wrong. As I look at your work, it might be some small detail that you didn't do. Maybe you forgot one number, or you may have messed up on one small calculation, but the rest of your work is sound. That means I can give you credit for all of the good work and update your score so that you actually get more points. So submitting your work is actually, I think, a very positive thing and a way to show what you know. If you have any questions about the administration of this exam, make sure you reach out to me prior to the midterm start, the start of the midterm on that specific day, so that you have a good idea of what to do. And that's the best way to handle it. So everybody do your best. And I hope that everybody passes and just gets a great score, but be sure to be prepared. Okay, that's it.